But we'll start tonight with the big fish kill along our coastline. The government's been blaming it on a combination of unseasonable temperatures and abnormal oceanic conditions, while denying the mothballed Desal plant could have contributed to deaths on southern beaches. But as Paul Makin reports, a respected Flinders Uni scientist has a very different view.
What did they discharge? What explains this?
You have to ask the question, why? What happened?
Something bad has happened there?
It's currently Adelaide's most useless piece of infrastructure, the Port Stanvac Desal plant. Currently mothballed, but not entirely idle.
And this all needs to be clarified. What did they do? What explains this event? There's no natural factors can explain this.
It's the big Adelaide fish kill. Dead fish en masse being washed up on our southern beaches.
Never seen it before and not sure why.
Yeah, wondering about what the cause is.
The government blamed unusual weather patterns and an algal bloom for the deaths and fiercely protected the environmental reputation of the Desal plant.
Those tests have indicated that the most likely cause is due to natural phenomena.
But now, thanks to the government's own Environmental Protection Authority, oceanographer Jochen Kaempf suspects something strange went on at the Desal plant at exactly the same time as the first dead fish were washing up.
Something must have happened, because this is scientific evidence.
The Flinders University professor has studied the EPA's monitoring close to the Desal plant at the time in question.
First, I didn't look at the monitoring results because I didn't expect much, but I went to this community event last week and the ministers and the representative says, well, it's all recorded and I had a look at it on Anzac Day. I couldn't believe what I saw.
And what he saw shoots huge holes in the Fisheries Minister Gail Gago's spin. Speaking in State Parliament today, Minister Gago said,
"The EPA has categorically ruled out any link to the Desal plant, and the results demonstrate full compliance with EPA licence conditions."
But here's what Jochen says went on around the plant leading up to the event.
Ambient salinity for the entire month, and that's the important reference. Ambient salinity means the undisturbed salinity of the sea, not impacted by any discharge.
But then the first of two major incidents at and near the Desal plant.
That's the first event that you see. It's from the 12th until the 16th of March. I think that is a significant event where they presumably cleaned the membranes.
Now let's move on to the second and most significant evidence.
And this is directly linked to the fish kill, starts on the 22nd.
According to the EPA's own tests, 100 metres from the Desal plant, there appears to have been a dramatic event linked to the plant.
The salinities drop, measured by all these sensors, drop, but this time they drop below ambient.
Jochen reckons any discharge of material would cause this, and much more.
A soup of highly elevated nutrient levels. That's the important thing here. Low salinity, high nutrients, and I presume that this backwash was released on the 22nd into using the outlet of the Desal plant, triggering the reduced salinities, but also injecting high nutrient levels into the local environment.
What does that do to fish?
Warm water, nutrient source, it's a big trigger of algae blooms, reducing oxygen levels, can be directly linked to the fish kill.
The government does need to explain why it is they were so prepared to rule out the Desal plant in these fish deaths, yet now we've got published by the EPA alarming figures that show that there were dramatic changes taking place in the vicinity of the Desal plant at the same time that fish were starting to die.
Greens Upper House MP Mark Parnell was shocked when I showed him the data and the professor's conclusions.
That facility down there on the coast, that soon to be a white elephant that's going to be turned off, people would hate to think that was causing the fish deaths. But really, when you get a senior oceanographer from one of our top universities saying there is a problem, the government needs to pay attention.
And if this so-called soup, made up of who knows what, was released, it couldn't have happened at a worse time for marine life.
It all happened exactly during a Dutch tide of 2 days, 2 days of absolutely no tidal or minimum tidal movement. So that soup stayed in the region, and now you can imagine there's the Nolanga Reef system. If that soup in warm water creates an algae bloom moving over the Nolanga Reef, you can easily explain all the leather jacket, which is a reef species, washed up in that region.
Well, we put a series of questions to SA Water about the operations of the Desal plant around that crucial period. They told us that maintenance was carried out between the 12th and 14th of March, but that no backwash was undertaken and hence no discharge, and that any backwash carried out is chemical-free.
The right answer for the government would be that it was just a coincidence, but most people, I think, are going to ask a few more questions than that.
Jochen Kaempf says we can't mess around with such sensitive ecosystems like our Gulf waters.
The environment is something that remains after we are passed away. You know, I have 4 kids. You know, that's their kids, and so, you know, it's all about, you know, the marine heritage that we have.